Okay, so we're going to look at some different ways to start fire. So some different fire starters. I'm going to talk about the kind of advantages and disadvantages of using them. And yeah, so to kind of ignite all of these things, we're going to be using my fire steel. You can use a lighter, matches. If you're brave, you can use some charcoal off and a flint and steel. Yeah, so like I say, I'm using this ferro rod, which produces some really nice sparks. So the first thing is I think it's paraffin soaked fire starter. So this is basically just a bunch of wood shavings soaked in paraffin, I think it is. So these are really great. The only thing I've found is if it's very windy, these are designed mainly for use in kind of home fires, so fireplaces inside. So they are slightly difficult to light if it's windy or very cold and wet, but that once they get going, they are probably the best you could ask for. So I find if you unravel them slightly, they perform slightly better, like with any tinder really. So you just put all the shavings together and then just give it some sparks from your ferro rod. There we are. So there we go. Like I said, kind of hard to ignite slightly, but because I think they're designed to be lit with a lighter. Obviously a bit harder with a ferro rod, but as you can see, once you get them going, they are pretty excellent. That is going to burn for a long time and it's going to burn hot. So you could probably, if you had a few of them, boil water. You probably would struggle to cook food with just them, but they are an excellent fire starter and they're going to last a long time. And they're quite portable, they're really easy to bring. The only thing, like I said, is it's just getting them lit can be a slight pain, especially if you kind of got limited kind of fire lighting supplies. It might be better to go with something else. Okay, so next we're going to look at some fat wood. So this is just a stick of fat wood. For those of you that don't know, fat wood is just resinous kind of wood. You can find whole stumps of it if you know what you're looking for. You can get them from yeah, they can be quite easy to find if you know what you're looking for, but I just bought this stick. It came with a ferro rod. So there are kind of two ways you can do this. Probably the most conservative way to do it, if you want to kind of really look after it and not get through it quickly, is just to kind of use your knife. Just kind of use your knife and scrape bits off like that. You can get really fine shavings, and if you do it this way, this is going to last absolutely ages. So if you just scrape a bit off like that, I don't know how well this is going to work because it's very windy. It's died down a bit, but let's give it a go. We might need a bit more, but that looks like a decent amount, so let's try. Oh yeah, we're getting a bit of a... It's just about. So if I'd have carried that on for slightly longer, it would have been absolutely fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some shavings off with my knife, almost like I'm sharpening a pencil or making a pointy stick. So that'll be plenty. So just shave little bits off. You don't want to shave chunks off because A, it's going to be harder to ignite, and B, you're going to get through your fat wood quite quickly. So you need some hot sparks, but once it gets going, it should be really good. Yeah, there we go. So it burns slightly different to kind of normal wood shavings because it gives off quite a well, it gives off a very nice smell of kind of pine, I think, and then it gives off kind of a black smoke. So something else you can do, which I forgot to mention, is actually just use your ferro rod. Now this is not going to be ideal at all if it's really, really windy or cold. If it's wet, you've basically got no chance of this working. However, it will still work technically in the wet, but actually trying to get fire will be quite hard. So what you're gonna do, now not a lot of people know this, is you can really gently shave off, especially if you've got really malleable soft ferro rod, you can just shave off shavings. It's a horrible noise. You can just gently shave off bits of it to make a little pile of metal. It'll work better if you're kind of using a really, really hard kind of steel blade. And there you go. It's kind of like a chain reaction. It will kind of, if you scrape off enough, you have to do it really, really gently. Not like that. You have to really, really gently scrape off bits without doing it hard and fast enough for it to kind of ignite. And if you do lots of them, I've got a little pile there, and then you give it a spark, there's a much hotter, much more kind of dramatic sparks than usual. So my personal favourite fire starter, birch bark. Now I love this stuff because it is natural. You can find it wherever there's a birch tree, and it's really, really good because it burns very, very hot and very easily. So you get your birch bark. If it's really, really struggling to start, you can kind of shave it off a little bit, and then make some fine shavings because it'll be easier to ignite. But then you just kind of make a little pile like that, give it a couple of good strikes to your ferro rod, and as easy as that, you get a very, very nice hot flame. Really, really hot flame, and that is already hot. So next is another one of my favorites, because you can make it yourself, is char cloth. So char cloth is without question the easiest thing to kind of get an ember glowing with. It is so easy to get an ember, catch an ember with char cloth and get it burning red hot. It's not going to ignite. Char cloth will never ignite. You could hold a lighter up to it and it wouldn't burst into flames unless you've kind of undercooked it or something else is going on, or it's kind of got something on it. But it will never ignite. However, it makes catching, you can make a tiny, tiny spark with a flint and steel or whatever and catch it with char cloth. It is quite hard to go from char cloth to a fire because you need to, it's not going to be a flame, so you need to get char cloth, give it a tiny bit of tinder, nurture it, kind of blow on it, make sure it's hot enough. But it does burn really, really hot. It doesn't burn, but it glows really, really hot. So if you've got a feather stick or something, that's quite ideal. Personally, this is more of a summer tinder just because it's really miserable in the snow or the rain. But anyway, I'll show you here a really tiny, I'm going to do a tiny, tiny spark so I can kind of show off to you how easy it is. See, that there is enough. Oh, and we got one there. That tiny, tiny, tiny strike of the ferro rod has caught. And it's hot even holding it there. So char cloth burns really, really hot. And if you kind of want to ignite another piece of char cloth, if this one's dying out, you can just hold it up. Give it a bit of a glow. And it's transferred to that one. So I mean, this is an excellent fire starter. A bit more of an uncommon fire starter, but really, really useful, especially if it was a kind of emergency, because you might not have everything you need with you. But one of my absolute favourites as well, because they're not talked about massively, is kind of sweet wrappers. So not all sweet wrappers will work. Most of them will burn, but not many of them will be good. So this is just a Tootsie Roll sweet wrapper from the States. These are excellent because they're waxy. Anything that's waxy, so kind of old-fashioned sweets or something, anything with waxy paper is going to be absolutely amazing for lighting a fire. So you just pop it down, get your ferro rod, and this should do it in a couple of strikes. There we go. Now, because it's quite windy, I'm just going to fold it over because I think we need a bit thicker of a layer, but it did burn. Just need to get it hot. There we go. See, that's burning quick. Now that's the problem. That's the problem with it. It burns very, very quickly, but it does burn quite hot. So I think you wouldn't necessarily struggle to light a fire with it, but you're gonna have to hopefully have more than one. And if you use more than one, that should be enough. So next is probably the most obvious one, is a cotton ball. Now cotton balls are excellent. They are so easy. They're probably second in line from char cloth to catching an ember. Now I see loads and loads of people online just getting a cotton ball that's all squished up like this, and they're kind of plopping it down, squidging it up, or it's already squidged up, and then they light a fire with it, which is fine and it can work. But if you only have a few and it's kind of not great weather, if you just open it up before you use it, it's so much easier to catch a spark, and it will just burn better. Because a lot of the time you can catch a spark with it, it will burn, the outside will go black and it will stop burning, but there'll still be a bunch of cotton in the inside, so we need to make the most of it, especially if you don't have many. And just one, look at that, that was instant. And again, that's not burning too hot, but it's burning well. It's definitely going to ignite more tinder, but you probably wouldn't want to go from cotton balls to sticks unless it is really, really dry. What you can do with them though is get some Vaseline. So some petroleum jelly is absolutely your best friend. This can be used for so many things. So I bought this from Superdrug. I think it was about £1, and there's enough in there for a long time of like a while of using it, especially for bushcraft. I mean, the obvious thing is it's great if you've got a kind of if you've got a cut, or if you're in kind of harsh weather. Now interestingly enough, if you get some of this out, and you pop it down onto some wood, you might think that's going to ignite, but if you try and just do it like that, it is going to melt and maybe char a bit and not ignite at all. So petroleum jelly by itself is pretty useless for starting a fire. It's just going to melt really. But what you can do is put it on a bit of cotton wool, and ooh, that's got my flint striker all dirty. Oh well, go like that. Ooh. And then you get the kind of quick ignition of the cotton wool, but the longevity of the petroleum jelly. So it's going to last a lot longer, it's going to burn a lot hotter, and it is excellent. I'll show you properly. So the kind of best fire starter I'd probably say you can get is if you grab 2 cotton balls, cover them in Vaseline, and then grab your flint striker and give it a couple of sparks, and that is going to burn really hot. So yeah, that was a bunch of different ways you can start fires with different types of tinder. I hope it's been really, really useful. There's obviously plenty more ways you can start fires with different types of tinder, so maybe in another video we'll look at that. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this new playlist of more detailed and focused videos, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.